And now at this time, I'd like to introduce our speaker. Our speaker is a husband and father with a mission to serve and help others. He is a United States Air Force veteran and the Servolution Network Executive Director. Let me introduce you to Jason Malewiski. Which way would ever be comfortable to you?
Do I need the mic?
You might. It might be some better.
Can you guys hear me okay if I don't use the mic?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want.
You don't need it for sound, do you?
No, I'm good. Although I'd like to point out to the audience that we now have a pop filter, that's what they call it, so that when people are really talking into the microphone, it's not going all the time. Yay!
All right, so I am the Plan B speaker today, so I'm glad you came. For those who don't know me, I'm Jason Malewiski. I just want to tell you a little bit about how we started before I tell you about kind of what we're doing now. So she mentioned I retired from the Air Force in 2015. My last military assignment before coming and moving to Azle was in Oklahoma City. And our church we were a part of had an outreach ministry called Servolution. And Servolution started in Louisiana in response to Hurricane Katrina. The whole community, obviously, when Katrina hit, was devastated, and a church stand up and united a whole bunch of other churches, a whole bunch of other community entities, and just loved people with no strings attached. Obviously, when tragedy happens, there's opportunities all around you to love your neighbors. So that's kind of what the seeds that were planted in me when I was in Oklahoma City. Today, there's roughly 750 churches around the world that are Servolution churches, if you will. So when I moved here, I wore a t-shirt to our church on a Wednesday night, and my pastor asked, "What is that?" So I got to tell him, and really what he told me was simple. He said, "We need that here." So we began in 2013 to kind of love the elderly and the people in need in our own church. I go to the church at Azle, and we just kind of figured out how to do it. Servolution looks different kind of everywhere you go. So we built wheelchair ramps, we did yard cleanup, we just did a myriad of things for whatever the elderly needed in our church. And one of the challenges when I retired in 2015 was my pastor said, "Hey, I need you to figure out a way to love on first responders." Obviously that's passionate to me. So we held in 2015 our first ever first responders banquet. And a whole bunch of local first responders came, the local Azle mayor came, and I made up these little cheesy flyers that kind of showed what we did for outreach in our church. And he took one. Wasn't very impressive at all. And he went to a Tarrant area mayor's conference shortly thereafter, and a group called Six Stones presented, which is out of Hurst, Euless, Bedford, and all over the area now. They just signed a 380 agreement with the city of Grapevine I saw just the other day. So they're all over. But again, he went to that Tarrant area mayor's conference and said, "Hey, we need that in Azle." And Six Stones says, "You know, we love your passion, but it's too far for us. So if you find a church that's willing and able, we'll teach them." So remember, he had this little cheesy pamphlet, and kind of the rest is history. They've been mentoring us along the way. We've been figuring it out, making lots of mistakes, making lots of progress. But today I just want to kind of show you how we've been blessed. We started out as an outreach ministry of one church. A couple years ago, we got our own standalone nonprofit so we can unite the whole community. We've got a whole bunch of churches who are involved, a whole bunch of businesses involved, and our goal just in the end is just to love your neighbor, whatever that looks like. And I'll kind of walk through a little bit about what Servolution Network is. So this is our own logo. We chose the name Servolution Network because frankly what I've learned through this is you know people I don't know, and I know people you don't know, and together we can do a whole bunch of amazing things. And our motto is let's build community together. So here's our vision. Simple, right? We create opportunities for the blessed to be a blessing. We get calls, random calls all the time. Single moms needed housing, cars breaking down, my house is falling apart. I need food, I need food, I need food. I get it all the time. 1 in 5 people in Tarrant County don't know where they're going to get their next meal. We're not a food bank, but this year, and I'll share with you in a little bit, we've had the opportunity to bless about 250,000 people with food because we were able to do logistics with our trucks and pass it out to other food pantries. So here's our mission: to build an alliance with folks just like you. Together we can do some amazing things. So here's kind of I know it's a busy chart. We just this year grew our board from the minimum of 4 members. We ramped it up to 9 board members. So all the people in red are new. Some names may look familiar. Pastor Brandon Gary was here in Lake Worth. Kay Rollins is a part of this. And some others. Troy Byram's right up the road. Paige McClure, if you'll raise your hand, is my assistant director. She's also a counselor. If you know people who need counseling, she's a counselor. And Jennifer Allen here leads our Pay It Forward team. So we collect gently used about anything and we pay it forward. Mainly it's furniture, appliances. We started collecting clothing. But again, we're just trying to do whatever we can to love your neighbor. I've put some vacancies on here. So one of the challenges as a nonprofit is fundraising. I always feel like I'm the guy who's always got his hand out. Give. And I don't like that perception, and I don't like always doing it. So I'm desperately trying to find somebody who says, hey, I'll help you. So here's just a little bit. Since we started in 2014, we've touched or been a part of 77 housing revitalizations. So that's things like a wheelchair ramp to a whole housing renovation. And I'll show you some pictures here in a little bit of what kind of Good Neighbors looks like. That's our biggest program we have, where we go in and help a homeowner kind of get their life back in order. This past year, we hired our second part-time employee, which was Jennifer. We actually did a corny little, I guess I do corny because I did a corny little flyer and got us started. We did a corny little video this year by a local realtor, and we just blasted out there and just said, hey, we have a need for a warehouse. And a local church in our community, actually in Reno, stepped up and said, hey, we've got a church complex that we're not using anymore. We'd love to let you guys use it. So now all the furniture that we do, which is we serve about 50, 60 families a month through pickups and deliveries, families in need, goes through a church that just stepped up this year. Told you we grew to 9 board of directors. Every year we have it was a nationwide, now it's a worldwide survey. I told you there were 750 churches that are Servolution churches. So locally, we decide to serve a different people group kind of every year. So in July it happens. This year we chose Single Mom Serve Day. So we collected a whole bunch of stuff and gave it away to single moms. Had a little program to love on them. We try and do whatever we can to meet the needs. Obviously, one of the challenges we have as a nonprofit is if we're everywhere, we're nowhere. So we're trying to be diligent in what we fundraise for and collect for and pay forward. It's hot in Texas, so AC is a big deal. Lots of people, lots of the elderly don't have AC. So we partner with a couple different businesses in Azle, and we just love on the homeowners. You know, one of the things I hope you take away from today is I physically can't be everywhere, but we can be everywhere. I hope that makes sense. And we're trying to expand to Springtown, to Lake Worth, to Reno, Boyd, and all of the above that surround us. We've added a couple trucks this year, and I told you about the meals. So, you know, crazy thing about the meals, how that happened is we use Facebook a lot to communicate our needs and how you can help. And it was a random, do you guys know Chris Gregory here locally? Just one JP. So there was a Facebook post out there from one of the local food pantries that says, hey, we got semi-trucks full of boxed meals that, in this case, we're supposed to go to Puerto Rico. And who can help? So a little Facebook post that he tagged me in last January turned into us being able to distribute food to 250,000 people in all over the area. We take it to, of all places, we take it to a wrecking yard because they've got a warehouse and they've got a forklift. They partner with us just to be a distribution point. Again, we're not a food pantry, but we're able to serve other food pantries kind of through this. So I just want to kind of walk you through what Good Neighbors looks like. So how this started was with the pamphlet, and we actually presented to Azle City Council, and we signed a 380 economic development agreement. So what does that mean? That means the city of Azle puts in $50,000 a year into Servolution so we can go fix up houses. So there's $25,000 to administer the program and then $25,000 to fix up houses. So that funds about 10 homes a year. So we've been doing this since 2016. So that's roughly 30 homes that it will fund, if you will. Typical home revitalization that we've found is about $2,500 a house, give or take. Some houses are huge, some houses are pretty minor. Slap some paint, do some trim, clean up the yard. It's pretty easy stuff. But I just want to walk you through kind of some of the pictures. So this was our first, when we signed the 380 agreement. Gee whiz, already 2016 is when we did that. So in that picture is Azle City Manager, Mayor of Azle, me, Paige, and her husband Matt, and then some of our Six Stones reps. I told you Six Stones presented at Tarrant Area Mayor's Conference. They've been part of our growth kind of since the very, very beginning. And really one of the things I like, so when we do Good Neighbors, there's different roles, if you will, within the team. There's people that coordinate the whole thing. There's ministry teams at each house. There's site captains at each house. I mean, there's an opportunity for every walk of life, if you will, to hang their hat and be a part of fixing up houses. So just a couple numbers. We're about to do our 6th Blitz, April 5th and 6th. We're going to do probably anywhere from 5 to 6 homes in 2 days. So what does that look like? So Friday morning, we meet at 8 o'clock in the morning at the old Azle Library. The city donates us a building. Without that building, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So it's a huge asset to us. We've stocked it. It's probably about this size. We've stocked it with lumber racks, building materials. Anything people donate, building supplies, is basically stored there. We got huge donations of paint. We store it there. All the volunteers come. We have a little pep rally. And then we line everybody up to their houses and we disperse. And people just go love the neighbor, whatever that looks like. Whether it's, we had a homeowner last time. When we first got there in April, it was October of 17, excuse me. We got there and the mayor was actually going to lead this house project. He was going to go there with some of the city council members and they were going to cut the grass, trim the trees, and we were going to be done. It was going to be a simple house, easy project. And does everybody know Nick Stanley? So he went with, and when they got up to the house, you could smell the inside. So there was actually, if you go to, there's some pretty horrific pictures out there on social media. The homeowner had roughly 2 feet of trash on the inside of the house. So it's taken a huge community effort. We just finished it, I think it's been 3 weeks ago now. We had the football team in there, the Azle High School football team in there with masks on. We took out 5 dumpster fulls of stuff out of the inside of the house. 5 big, huge dumpsters out of the inside of the house. We don't typically do that. Typically, it's 95% of the jobs we do is outside. But it really, this house in particular, really pulled on the heartstrings of all of our city leadership, and we just simply couldn't walk away. The homeowner, when we got there, was living in his truck. The homeowner had no water to his house for a year. I mean, crazy stuff. And the thing that kind of breaks my heart is it was literally a half a mile from the church that I go to, and I had no idea. It was right in the middle of actually 2 churches is where it sits. So, one of the things I tell people often is people want to go to Africa and they want to do mission trips all over the place. There are so many people in need in our local area. We get calls and emails every day that it just kind of blows my mind. And one of the challenges I have is I've got to lean on people that can help us because, like I said, I can't be everywhere. So this is one of our first homeowners that we did. So this is on one of the main drives into a nice neighborhood in Azle, Dunaway. The gentleman who's the homeowner here had severe scoliosis, and from Dunaway, there's a huge hole on the side of the house where a small child could walk into his house. And this was a room right next to his bedroom. And this is the kind of things that people should not live like this in our communities. So the right side, this is that hole in the house I showed you, and this is what the house looked like when it was done. Here's another house in Azle. And really what we found out, through the years now is it's so much more than fixing up somebody's house. People fall on hard times and frankly just give up. So we can't do what we do without city leadership backing. When we do the Blitz launches, every single time we do it, the city manager, the council, the mayor is out there with us. working. Typically, they'll let the city employees off on the Friday. The public works guys will come out. So if we need backhoe stuff or whatever the city can offer, we'll do a lot of the major demo. Typically, the Saturday, so I told you we start on Friday and I never finished. The Saturday is when you usually put the final coats on. So when we do a blitz, it's usually 5 to 7 homes in a weekend, depending on the scope of work, and anywhere between 400 and 500 volunteers. The group I told you about in Hershey, Bedford, 6 Stones, will do 40, 50 homes in a weekend with thousands of volunteers. It's pretty awesome to see. So this is just kind of this is the sign of the old days of the library. So we all get together, we take a group picture, and we launch. You know, it's created some pretty awesome, you know, I guess I never realized what the model Let's Build Community would look like when we first started, right? It's cool to say, but really we've seen an awesome sense of community within the school district coming out. Now the baseball teams and the football teams come out. FFAs, you know, want to jump in. We've partnered with Texas Health and started a community garden. So I mean, there's different kinds of people groups from all over the place that are able to jump in. So this is kind of what Good Neighbors is in a nutshell. You know, I came up with the, I guess, corny acronym, if you will, of love. It's really just love your neighbor. Whatever that looks like to you, may look like a little bit different to me, but there is opportunities all over our communities. So another program we have is mainly what Paige runs, and it's called Community Ministry. So I told you for Serve Day, last year we had a single moms banquet. Other things we do is we're getting ready to ramp up for a community-wide health fair. So kind of what we do is we get a neutral venue. We ask a whole bunch of the local medical professionals to come be a part of it, and then we offer everything we do for free. We had a first responders banquet several years in a row. Last year we took off to serve single moms, and I believe we're going to ramp up and have another first responders banquet this coming year. We also do community-wide fill the bins. So that's really how we started when we branched out for the first time outside the church at Hazel. So we really didn't know what we were doing. We loved on our church, but we wanted to figure out a way to get involved in our community and serve other people. So kind of canvassed the community and found out what other nonprofits are doing. And rather than try and do what they're doing, what can we do to support them? So we actually put out some little cheesy plastic tubs when we first started, and we collect for the Hazel Community Caring Center. We'd collect food, or the Eagle Mountain Pregnancy Help Center, and we collect diapers, formula bottles. And now we have a program to where 12 months out of the year we're collecting something for somebody. And we've had a company donate some nice metal with plastic bins, got our logo on it. And it's just a way for us, again, to build community, because people can drop in donations. We collect them up once a month and then use them to bless another nonprofit in our community. So Pay It Forward has grown so much since we started. They actually wrote a book called Servolution about kind of Hurricane Katrina. And one of the outreach ideas they had was fill up a gymnasium full of stuff, have a garage sale, advertise a garage sale, and give it all away for free. And we did that in 2013, and it was amazing. So many people were blessed by it. It was fun. Everybody was charged up. But one of the things we found was people continued to call us and say, hey, my refrigerator's broke. Hey, my washing machine's broke. Hey, I don't have a bed. Hey, I don't have this. So we had somebody in our church at the time that got a 10 by 10 storage. And then we got a 10 by 20 storage. Today we've got two. We've got the church I told you about that donates a warehouse. We've got Brace Chiropractic in Hazel that donates about a 2,500 square foot warehouse. We've got a sea container. We've got a semi-trailer with clothing, a couple trucks. It's 50 or 60 families a month. And it's things that will break your heart, to where it's, you know, elderly don't have a refrigerator. It's an 8th grade student that doesn't have a bed. It's all kinds of things that our community will call for. Frankly, we can't even keep up. You know, we've hired Jennifer part-time, but we can't find enough volunteers because the needs are just tremendous through Pay It Forward. So here's how to reach us. I'll leave these so I don't belabor the point, but we had to get to the point, so we're growing, right? And I'm trying to figure this out. I'm retired from the military, but I still work full-time out at Lockheed, and I do this because I love it. And what I found was I gave out my cell phone number, and everybody had my number, so every walk of life calls you. So we got a 1-800 number to try and help make it to where we can manage it a little bit better. Because what I found out, when you help, people have no problem calling you at 10:30 at night when you're trying to put your kids to sleep for anything. So this is kind of, I just wanted to leave with, this is kind of our dream big. So one of the things that I personally pray about, there's an old Kmart in Hazel that's vacant. It's been vacant forever. I'd love to see it be put to use to where it's a one-stop shop. I told you we're kind of everywhere, but what I found is when you're everywhere, you're nowhere. It's hard for volunteers to volunteer and to donate stuff when they're like, hey, I got this item, where do I take it? Hey, I got this item, hey, I want to volunteer. And you're all over the place. It's so much easier when you have one space. I don't know where this is. I've always put the old Kmart on here because it's the biggest building that I know around here that's vacant. But ideally, we'd have a spot to where all of our good neighbors' materials were stored. All of our furniture and appliances and clothing is one spot. We have an event center that's neutral for everybody to use. We offer some kind of low or free minute clinic, and then we offer Christian counseling. I don't know when this happened, but I'm praying it will happen. So and just something I'll probably work with your local chamber on, but people ask me all the time, where can I get food? All hours of the night. So these are not, I told you, we're not a food pantry, but we've worked hard to collect information on people who are. So I share this flyer alone, local food pantries, probably 50 times a month. 50 times a month from people all over the place calling me, and they'll say, this one's not open, this one's not open. So we're trying to do whatever we can to help. And if you need these slides or want these slides and Ashley doesn't email them out, I'll email them to you in a heartbeat. So this is our local food pantry. We've started partnering with Community Link. This is the local pregnancy help center. So we have a huge problem in our area, drug and alcohol addiction. So this is some of the local facilities that are available. And we partner with these guys a lot because they're a Christian discipling program and they love to give back to the community. So I told you earlier, we touched 77 houses. For the most part, especially the refuge on the very top, has probably been with us on 40 of those 77 houses, supplying manpower. Here's shelters. One of the hardest things for me trying to figure this out is how to tell a single mom that I don't have a place to send her when she's got kids and they're getting evicted. I got one that called 2 nights ago, getting evicted this weekend. Where do you send them that's safe? Not where do you send them, but where do you send them that's safe? That's it. That's all I've got.
Does anyone have any questions or anything that they would like to ask Jason?
Yeah, I would.
Yes, sir.
Have you, speaking of food,
Yes.
people, and there would have to have transportation, but have you ever dealt with any of the restaurants that would say you could call in and say, you feed that family and I'll pay the bill?
We have, so I know, I can't speak so much for the Lakewood businesses, but we've had time and time again in Hazel, when we hear about a family who's had a fire or X, Y, and Z happens, we'll have local businesses that say, tell them to come in and we'll cover it, for sure. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am?
Jason, how far out is your reach and your scope? You're talking about Hazel. How far does that go?
So I'll answer right back to you. How far will you go?
Well, I've learned how to
Yeah.
work with you.
No, it's good because we're trying to figure this out, right? We've been far. So our pastor was linked up to a pastor in Vidor, Texas. So we revitalized a house in Vidor with Hurricane Harvey. But typically it's Lake Worth, Hazel, Springtown. I actually live in Weatherford, even though I'm 3 miles from Hazel. We partner with the local Lake Worth Home Depot to help veterans as well. So we've gotten quite a few veteran grants through Home Depot. So it's hard as a nonprofit with fundraising. It goes back to fundraising. So when you have a vehicle like Home Depot potentially, you can go further because usually the materials are paid for. We just got to run out of volunteers. And when we can't go there, let's say you go east of here, I'll just call my buddies at Six Stone and say, hey, we got a house that needs some help. So it's kind of the part of the networking.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but a big shout out to them. They, last year partnered with the ISD and delivered, I don't even know how many, do you even know how many like pallets of food over the summer that we distributed out to families? It was amazing.
So my wife is actually a Lake Worth school nurse, and she texted me on the way over here, and I didn't even tell her I was coming to speak, but she told me today she needs more food, so we'll have to figure out how to get more food. But you know, the boxed lunch is amazing, but we got to figure out a way to get. Azel has a business or through the community care center that supports the Azel Community Care Center, so the kids can go home on Fridays with a backpack full of food for the weekend. We got to figure something like that out for this community as well.
Have you ever rehabbed houses in Lake Worth?
Yes. With Home Depot, and we've done. One of the guys on my board goes to First United Methodist Church. They're working on a house right now in Lake Worth.
Jason, is it your Facebook page that you have all your events? I know I'm in some groups. But,
Uh-huh.
I strongly suggest everyone go like the Facebook page because that he is on top. I don't know if it's you or somebody in your organization is on top of the social media part of it and outreach, and you might know someone what they're looking for, and it helps just immediately.
So our Facebook page is Servolution Network, and Beth is a perfect example, right? That you guys know people we don't know. So I put a need out there on December 17th that we needed. What was it? Was it 24 bundles of shingles? Okay, and I shared it. About 30 people shared it, and Beth made a connection with Ehlers Roofing. Remember, I put this out there on the 17th that we needed shingles. By the 27th of December, Christmas break, somebody was installing the shingles just because we asked. So it's pretty awesome.
I met that guy just that afternoon.
And you met him at a networking event just like this, right?
You had a one-on-one with him and said, hey, I texted him once I saw Jason's post, and he was on like that.
Any other questions?
Jason,
Sir?
it's a God thing.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, what, just another,
No, we got one more question.
it takes $50,000 to get into this program,
Through that 380 economic development, yes, sir.
and we're eligible for that.
Of course.
City of Lake Worth.
Of course.
City.
Of course.
And
We would love to have
half-
it.
And half of it goes to the pot, and the other half goes to whatever.
So one of the things, yes, so by the way the 380 is written up, 25,000 goes to the administration and 25 goes to fixing up houses. For example, though, last Good Neighbors Blitz, Paige helped me. So we fundraised 40,000 and we got, so how we really make the money go further is we get in-kind donations, which is a roofer coming to donate all our services and stuff.
Yeah.
We had something like $110,000 in-kind donations just for the last Good Neighbors Blitz at all. So our job is to go out there and bring a whole bunch of people together that have skills and materials and fundraise as well. So really what happens, I kind of brushed over it, but the 380 agreement will buy you 10 homes a year for the community, right? We've done 77 since we've started, so our goal is not to do the minimum, but to help as many as we possibly can. Love it.
So on behalf of the Northwest Chamber, we always give our speakers a fancy cookie.
I'm trying to lose weight. I give it to Stacy.
No.
Yeah, go good with your keto reps.
I'll eat it if you want.
I want you to. I don't want it.
And if you have not put your business card in here, you can still have that opportunity to put in here, but this is everyone that's here
Awesome.
today, their business card, so.
Okay.
Turn this way and smile.
Get 'em.
1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Here you go.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. I love my drink.
You can come back. Okay, and so at this time, I'm gonna make a couple of general announcements, and then we will move on to our door prizes and our 50-50 drawing. As you may have noticed, on the table, there are some forms for nominations for our, it is held in the 2019 year, but it's for the 2018 fiscal year, January through December. These are nominations for businesses or persons that you would like to nominate for our gala, which will be held on February 28th at Splash Days Water Park in the Conference Center. We discussed some things the other day. So we have individual tickets for sale as well. So if you see up here, you see tables. Those tables include a certain amount of seats and dinner. But if it's just you and you want to attend, we're selling tickets at $40 each. So you can either see me, call me, come to the office, somewhere, or if you're interested in going. We're doing something new this year. We're going to have bartenders bingo. So that's going to be a fun game. It's a guaranteed win if you play. And just, we're having a night to recognize and have fun.
What's the date?
The 28th, the last Thursday of February. Doors will open at 6. And next, we have a couple of ribbon cuttings coming up. On Saturday, which is, well, I'll go with Friday first. Friday, February 1st, they're going to have a ribbon cutting for the freeway, 199, or the highway. And the location will be at Western Center and 9 Mile Bridge at 11 o'clock in the morning. And that's Friday, February 1st. The following day, on February 2nd, one of our new members, Anytime Fitness, Anytime Workout, I did it again. They all have their ribbon cutting on February 2nd. That is a Saturday. It's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning, but we would love to see your faces there, welcoming them to the city. And
What time is the ribbon cutting?
oh, which one?
The highway.
At 11 o'clock. Friday morning, 11 o'clock. And then our next chamber coffee at the Cotton Patch will be February 12th at 10 a.m. That's just our hour of networking. Free coffee. They have muffins and danishes they provide for us. So if you'd like to have a good time networking, just come there and do networking there. And then also, this one is more recent. Linda is here. Would you like to say something about yours? Okay. They're having their grand opening celebration. We've been waiting for this. Town Place Suites. It's up on the hill by the movie theater. It's Thursday, January 31st from 4 to 7 p.m. They're going to have a ribbon cutting at 4:30. So if you want to be there for the ribbon cutting, Thursday, January 31st. So there's 3 back-to-back. There's going to be select wine, bourbons, appetizers, desserts. Y'all know where there's food, y'all can come.
And I have the invitation.
Yes.
If anybody's interested.
If you're interested, Linda's got invitations with her. And I believe that's it on my announcement. So now we will go to our drawings.
And they are open already. I saw the sign.
All right, so get your red tickets out. And I'm just going to read the last 3 numbers. I believe that we should do the last 3 numbers. 079.
Just what a banker needs.
Oh, I'm sorry, and that was a Jeannie Turley calculator. Right?
Yeah. Hard to get.
Here's a goodie basket from Serve Pro, Lake Worth, Benbrook area. I think it's what's
It's Beth Becker's place.
Beth Becker's Place. Yes, you've got multiple things in here. You've got a squeegee, a toothbrush, an extension cord, a flashlight, water, a rubber ducky that is green. Last 3 digits, 088.
Hey, we got a City of Lake Worth wonder bag. Because you wonder what's inside of it.
There you go. Did you hear that? It's a City of Lake Worth wonder bag because you wonder what's inside. Last 3 digits, 091.
Hey,
Jamie Virgil.
we need a little more hula-hooping out here.
087. Going once.
I used all the tickets.
Greg, is that yours?
There's Frank.
Give that to Kathy.
And from our own Carol Ann, Mary Kay, independent consultant, you have Mint Bliss, foot, and leg cream with the little aloe socks and some miscellaneous stuff in here. And a $25 gift certificate. 074.
Oh, that's me, but Caroline, if you want that.
Okay, she's gonna let somebody else.
Okay.
Thank you. She's married to herself too.
066.
Oh, that's me.
That's it.
Thank you.
You should have got something else.
Also,
Hey, Jody should have got something else since she passed that one on. Plus, if not, I'll have tears running down the table over there.
what was your number?
074.
074.
Yeah.
Okay, 074, you can get the city of Lake Worth.
And it matches your outfit. See that? It matches your outfit.
The movie night popcorn box and sodas and popcorn. 068. It's from Jeannie Turley. Andy. Oh, look. There's stuff inside the bag, but it's a surprise.
Is it good stuff?
Good stuff.
From Celtic Liquor, 089.
That's the second time I've seen that. That's awesome. That's the second time I've seen you win that. Father, you have such a great sense of humor.
But it's good stuff in there. Look. There you go.
Sacramento wine.
Okay, another movie popcorn box with 2 personal popcorn. And sodas.
Four popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the little buckets? Yep.
And
And Coke.
From Jeannie Turley, Century 21, number 083.
Hey,
There
that's me.
you go. Aren't you glad you showed up today?
Oh, I mean, it's serious.
I know.
I'm not violating the law right
Another Jeannie Turley calculator, 082.
Oh, so close.
now. Did you take my number to the side of that bowl?
Here. Okay, she got it. Okay, and now if you have your 50-50 drawing ticket.
Where's up?
0849931. Donations were she's been donated back, so now we have $64 for those out.
That was so apropos right there. How can that be? Oh, wait a minute.
And again, we would like to thank our luncheon sponsor, the City of Lake Worth. Our next monthly luncheon will go back to normal. It'll be the 3rd Wednesday of February, which is February 20th. So thank you for coming to your Northwest Tarrant Chamber of Commerce. Oh, go ahead.
Did you mention the Toastmasters reception?
I did not.
I did not think so. And anyone who's interested in coming to our Toastmasters group at Alba's Restaurant on the 23rd, Wednesday the 23rd at 11:30. Actually, 11 to 12. Please join us. We need some wine and free food, and you get to see meet the other people on Toastmasters, and hopefully become a better speaker, communicator. Thank you.
Thank you. too. And if, in the future, if you'd like to pay ahead of time, you can call me at the chamber, and it's $15 if you pay ahead, or $20 at the door. And remember to eat, shop, play in Lake Worth and the Northwest Tarrant County. Thank you, y'all have a great afternoon.